Good morning. Welcome back. Hey, some really good examples of those group meetings with the family. There's usually some really interesting things that need to be discussed. I mean, even something as simple as one of the examples I didn't give you the other day was I remember when my cousin, her children threw her a 25th wedding anniversary party. Now, of course, the big deal is her and the husband walk into a room or a restaurant not realizing what's going to happen. All of a sudden, everybody goes, surprise! And then she's got mascara running down her face. Oh, my children, I love them. But what goes into that moment happening is like 8 to 10 months, if not more, of small group meetings that need to be effective. You have her 25-year-old son, you have her 22-year-old daughter, you have her sister-in-law Joanne, her sister-in-law Jackie, and they all have to get together and start planning, like, when are we going to have it? Where are we going to have it? Who are we going to invite? Who are we not going to invite? How do we get them there without them knowing it's their party? I mean, there's all kinds of things, and it takes time, a considerable amount of time, in order for that group to come to its achieved goal, which, of course, was not only the anniversary party, but that golden moment when you realize that she's surprised it's her party. But what I want to talk about this morning is you as the individual group participant and making sure that you are as effective a group participant as you can be. All right? Now, what I have is what I call my 4 individual preps. These are preparations that you can make on your own to ensure that once you enter that group, you are as an effective group communicator as anybody else there. Now, the first one I have is knowledge. You want to make sure that you are fully knowledgeable about what's to be discussed in that group session. All right? So let's say, for example, if you got a memo from your boss that says, come Monday morning, 8 a.m., you and 5 other people are going to be in the conference room to discuss a new promotional campaign for our product. Where are you going to be Sunday night? You're going to be down at the tavern doing Sunday night karaoke? No, you're probably going to be in front of a computer gathering research, gathering data, so that come Monday morning, you are fully knowledgeable about what's to be discussed in that group session. The next thing is, even though you might have a great deal of knowledge, always go to a group session open-minded. Always know that someone else just might have a better idea than yours. Not always easy, especially when you do a lot of work, but you never know. Another idea just might be better than yours, and you have to stay open-minded. Number 3, prejudice. Keep it out. Now, when you hear the word prejudice, typically the average thing comes up where you make a prejudgment about someone based on their race, their ethnicity, their religious beliefs. But that's not the prejudice I'm talking about. Okay? Let's say you work at a company or no, you know what? I'm not going to use that one. I'll use this one. You're in class with someone. And let's say you meet twice a week. Let's say every Tuesday and Thursday. And that person is the most annoying person. They always get under the professor's skin. They don't seem to get along with everybody. They just seem to be a very annoying person. Well, all of a sudden, we're doing a group project in class, and I announce that groups are going to get together and work on the group project together, and I announce that that person's going to be in your group. Well, right away, you come up to me after class and like, Eccles, please don't put me with that person. I don't want to be with that person. But you never know, people. Because once you get in your group, that annoying person who just the sound of their voice every Tuesday and Thursday is like fingernails on a chalkboard, that person just might have the best idea. So try to keep your prejudice out. And then finally, there's never anything wrong with practicing politeness. Okay? Always treat, what's that old saying Grandma used to have? Now, it's a biblical, do unto others as you would have done unto you. Basically, treat people the way you would want to be treated. Okay? As a matter of fact, does anybody know this? Let's see if anybody can guess this before I say it. What's the one movie, no matter how old it is, what's the one movie that typically is shown that demonstrates effective group communication? Some of you probably have this already. The answer is a black and white movie from 1957. And it's called 12 Angry Men. And what it's about, it's a jury in a Manhattan jury in a courtroom. They've just heard a murder trial. An 18-year-old is on trial for murder, and he could face the death penalty. So the 12 jurors go into the jury room. They immediately decide to take an initial vote. 11 vote guilty, 1 votes not guilty. Well, right away you start to hear the grumble, oh, there's always one. And when they find out who voted not guilty, the guy says, well, I'm not saying that he's not guilty, but I think that before we send an 18-year-old to an electric chair, let's talk about it. And of course, as they talk about it, he's attacked, he's vilified, he's called names and everything else, yet he treats everyone with politeness. He kills them with kindness, okay? And of course, by the end of the film, all 12 vote not guilty. Because as they talk about it, as they go over the evidence and everything else, and as they continue to, as it goes from like, well, now 2 say not guilty, well, now 4 say, well, now we're split 6-6. He's still being personally attacked while he's not doing the same to the others. Even though they're coming at him, he treats everyone the way he would want to be treated. And that's why the gold standard for group communication is 12 Angry Men. Now, in your book, and hopefully you've been using the 13th edition, remember, thanks to a fellow student, you have that link with the free online textbook. In your textbook, they list what we call typical behaviors that help to, that are naturally assumed in a group. See, we all naturally assume certain behaviors in a group. Even if we don't say a gosh darn word, we're still naturally assuming a behavior. Albeit it could be a negative one if like we don't say a gosh darn word. But all these behaviors are called roles. Now, no matter who we are, what group we're in, we always naturally assume roles. Now, most of them are positive. There could be group task roles, okay? You could be an information seeker or an information giver. You could be an opinion seeker or an opinion giver. You could be, like the scribe or the note taker, okay? There's a lot of different positive task roles. And then there's social and maintenance roles. You could be someone who is an encourager or a supporter, making sure that everybody in the group, you're telling everybody in the group how important they are. You could be a harmonizer, making sure that you mediate differences between 2 group members and making sure that their differences are based on ideas. Now, unfortunately, there are also roles called dysfunctional roles. These are the roles that, if they come up, you just have to work through them. Kill them with kindness. Exhaust all avenues of kindness when someone has a dysfunctional role. For example, it could be someone who is a blocker, who just seems to block all ideas without any explanation and doesn't seem to want to reach any kind of middle ground. They'll sit by themselves in their own little viewpoint while everybody else feels differently, but never try to reach any kind of middle ground. That's a blocker. You could have a joker, okay, who just takes everything as a joke and doesn't seem to care or take anything serious. A recognition seeker, someone who just seems to want to just bring the attention onto themselves, all right? Anytime you get a dysfunctional role, you must work through them. Exhaust all avenues of kindness. Now, there are 13 group task roles, as you can see, and there are 7 social and maintenance roles. That's 20 positive roles. Now, the last group meeting I was in was my department meeting. This was back in April. And I would say, and there was 8 people in that meeting, and I would say in the 55 minutes that meeting went on, I could easily identify 8 of those 20 task roles that I naturally assumed. Okay? Certain things that I said, certain things that I reminded people of, those kind of things. I could easily say that I identified those roles. So now, it's time for your group paper. You have the assignment sheet there. Okay? Make sure you get at least 1.5 to 2 full pages. That's what I'm looking for. Don't fill up a page and then have 1 sentence on the second page and tell me that's 2 pages or 1.5. That ain't happening. All right? And you should have plenty from your textbook to draw from and from your own experiences to be able to get to that 1.5 to 2 pages. All right? All right. Your paper is due by Sunday, 8 p.m. And then come Monday, we start talking about persuasive speeches. All right. Take care, you guys.